guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we've got a super exciting one for you. It's a brand new penny stock to the channel. The company name is Wesana Health Holdings, and the company was actually founded by an ex-NHL player looking for alternative care solutions for a variety of different cognitive issues or conditions. So there's a lot to unpack with this one. I think this company's got a lot going for them in terms of their business model and future growth prospects, and we're gonna cover all of that in today's video. Now, before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you've heard of this company before, if you're currently holding shares, and how you think they stack up to some of the other companies that we've talked about on the channel in this sector. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be covering Wesana Health Holdings, trades under the ticker symbol WSNAF on the OTC in the United States. That's what we have shown here. Also trades in Canada on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol WESA. Now this company has been downtrending over the last couple of months. If we look at a one-year chart, you can see towards the end of August last year, they were in the neighborhood of about $3.60 American. And based on close as of Thursday, March 3rd, you can see they were down just over 5 cents per share, or about 8% on the day, to close out at 61 cents US. And one of the main reasons I wanted to get this video out now and cover this company is because it's been on my watch list for some time, and I think the levels we're starting to see are really making this quite an attractive buying opportunity based on the business model and some of the differentiators that we're going to talk about in today's presentation. So Wesana Health Holdings is in the alternative care or alternative health space, and similar to some of the other companies we've talked about on this channel, looking to harness the power of psychedelic treatments to really help with some cognitive disorders or conditions that are becoming very common and prevalent in today's society. Now, in terms of market cap, this is definitely a small or micro cap company. As you can see here, market cap sitting around $12 million US, and again, closed out as of March 3rd on 61 cents US, making this a penny stock in every sense of the word. So for those of you who are maybe unfamiliar with Wesana Health or Wesana Health, we are an integrated life science company really focused on life sciences, psychedelic treatments. So we've talked about some of these type of companies on the channel before, looking at alternative ways to deal with mental illnesses. And in the case of Wesana Health, specifically TBI or traumatic brain injuries and migraines. And I think there's a couple of ways this company has really differentiated themselves from some of the others we've talked about on the channel. And that's really what we're going to try and highlight in today's presentation. Now you can see on the landing page, we're on a mission to help people transcend barriers in mental health and performance by pioneering drug development, clinical therapy, and remote patient monitoring solutions for psychedelic medicine. Now their approach is really divided into two key pillars here. So new care patient paradigms today, novel treatments tomorrow. So on the left side here, you can see the actual care development. So this is going to talk about the drug development process, the patents, the protocol development. On the right-hand side is the actual care delivery. So these are going to be the brick and mortar clinics and how they actually administer these treatments to patients. So you can see the two bullet points outlined are the clinics and the protocol delivery. Now, one of the ways Wesana Health has really set themselves apart is they've actually got both of these work streams up and running. So they're undergoing new drug development. They've already got some existing patents in the hopper as well, but they've also got clinics up and running that they're looking to expand on. And we're going to build out on both of these pillars as we move into the investor presentation. So they're looking to uncover new indications, validate protocols, personalize treatment, and collect and integrate the data as they do so. Now, the second way Wesana Health has really set themselves apart is really through their rockstar leadership team and scientific advisory board. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, Daniel Carcillo, or Dan Carcillo, he's a former pro NHL hockey player, nicknamed the Car Bomb. He most recently played for the Chicago Blackhawks. He actually was a two-time Stanley Cup winner, and he underwent a number of traumatic injuries as a result of big hits and on-ice fights during his time in the NHL. So he was actually forced into early retirement due to some traumatic brain injury issues or TBI issues. And that's really what spurred him or inspired him to start up Wesana Health and look for ways or innovative ways to help other people going through similar situations. And he actually experimented with psychedelics that we'll talk about in more detail in a couple of slides here, and found a tremendous improvement in the quality of his life that he's now looking to share with the greater population. Now, Chad Bronstein, he's the executive chairman and co-founder of Wesana Health. He's also a major investor in this company, among other heavyweight investors like Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson, Sol Global, JLS Fund, and a number of other major notable investors in this type of industry or segment. And together or combined, these key investors hold about 40 to 45% of all the shares outstanding of Wesana Health. And Dan Carcillo himself owns about 20% of this company. So we talk about this a lot on the channel, but it's great to see high insider ownership, especially by the CEO, in startup or smaller cap companies like Wesana Health. Now, Mark Wingerson, he's the chief scientific officer. He's got a PhD, leader in global clinical development and drug safety. He gained regulatory approval for 5 products across 3 indication in large pharma and biotech companies, and was also involved in the development of Tamiflu and Viagra. So some of the biggest, most popular drugs in the world. Again, extensive track record and experience he brings to the team at Wesana. So next to Mark is Abid Nazir. He's a medical doctor or the chief medical officer at this company. He's overseen the administration of over 4,000 ketamine treatments. You can see leader in the fields of addiction, ketamine therapy, and pharmacogenetics, spearheading new research on ketamine and cognition, founded the first dedicated psychiatric ketamine clinic in the Midwest, and he was also in charge of previously leading the PTSD clinic at Overton Brooks VA Medical Center. So again, a wealth of knowledge brought to the team or the board here at Wesana Health. Now, if we rotate down from the leadership team to the scientific advisory board, again, you can see an all-star cast here, you guys. And 2 of the names I specifically wanted to call out are Robert Kaufman. He's got 32 years experience in this sector. He was actually the Navy's first head of combat and operational stress control. And Rachel Yuda, who's a PhD professor of psychiatry and neurosciences and the director of Center of Psychedelic Psychotherapy and Trauma Research. So again, when you're talking about ways that this company is differentiating itself from some of those we've covered on the channel previously, I think the leadership team and the scientific advisory board are one of the main things to note with Wesana Health. And if we jump into the investor presentation, you can see a bit more background or the journey behind Dan Carcillo here, the founder, CEO, and survivor. 9 years in the NHL, again won 2 Stanley Cups, and was forced to retire at the age of 30 due to something called post-concussion syndrome after 7 different concussions on the ice. Dan spent 5 years trying a variety of different clinical concussion treatments for TBI or traumatic brain injury, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and was no closer to improving his brain health or the quality of life. So he tried a number of expensive treatments that really got him nowhere. Now, feeling hopeless, Dan then turned to mushrooms, which contain psilocybin in combination with evidence-based therapies and other plant-based medicines. And lo and behold, 6 months into his journey, he received news that his brain scans had no abnormalities and the blood work also had normalized. So really then that confirmed Dan's thinking that this may be a viable or alternative care solution. And you can see some of the brain scans here before he actually experimented with mushrooms or psilocybin. You can see traumatic injury in red here, and afterwards the brain scans had come over clear or looked to mirror someone with regular brain activity and no traumatic brain injuries. So continuing along here, now we're going to look at each of the 2 pillars we mentioned in the intro. So first we're going to look at the actual care development pipeline or the new drugs and patents that Wesana Health is trying to bring to market. And you can see they're really being strategic here and going after some of the biggest opportunities in the industry. So Wesana's provisional patents focus on large markets with considerable unmet needs. So the big ones under the TBI or traumatic brain injury banner are really going to be depression, which is targeted as a $14.7 billion opportunity as of 2025, and anxiety, which represents about half of that volume at 7.4 billion, again projected out to 2023. And I wouldn't be surprised if both of these symptoms have projected a little bit on the low side, given the current state of the world, the geopolitical tension, the pandemic situation, I think has really caused a lot of people who maybe previously didn't have signs of depression or anxiety to fall into these buckets. Now, the non-TBI segment here is really focused on migraines or severe headaches. This represents a $7.8 billion opportunity, again projected out to 2025. This is something my immediate family has suffered from. My grandma, my mom get severe migraines, and I know this can really be debilitating for people that suffer from these type of symptoms. So now that we've identified the various opportunities or issues that Wesana Health is trying to solve, I wanted to move into how they're actually doing that and the development priorities. So they're using combination therapy of molecules with demonstrated effectiveness, specifically psilocybin or cannabidiol, more frequently known as CBD. So psilocybin is known for its neurogenic and neuroplasticity, whereas CBD is known for anti-inflammatory benefits and as a neuroprotectant. Now, if we go into the specifics here, you can see under psilocybin, increases neurogenesis and neuroplasticity, so the actual pathways in different parts of the brains. You can see complex changes in different activations of neural networks and can regulate inflammation within the central nervous system. Now, CBD acts as an anti-neuroinflammatory that attenuates brain damage or reduces the effects of neurodegeneratives. And that's what's actually giving that positive effect on things like anxiety and depression. So used in combination here, again, combination therapy, you can see how powerful psilocybin and CBD are when they're paired up together. And the outcome really here is crosstalk, establishing new connections around damaged areas in the brain, directly affecting serotonic pathways, no undesirable latency, physical dependency, or side effects. So unlike a lot of the traditional drugs, which have really been criticized for the harsh side effects, you're not getting that with some of these alternative medicines. And they actually go on to reference a number of studies that really show the benefits of these various different compounds. So using studied molecules in proprietary combination maximizes the likelihood of a successful therapy. So you can see top left here, psilocybin shown to increase brain connectivity and resting blood flow. Again, psilocybin shown to have a rapid effect on treatment-resistant depression. Bottom left here, talking about CBD as a neuroprotectant and calling out its role as an anti-inflammatory and its ability to work in concert with psilocybin. And then both molecules in combination here, CBD and psilocybin, have been independently shown to significantly improve the effects of migraine headaches. So the research is definitely there for both of these molecules independently, and this proprietary combination formula, again, is one of the ways that Wesana Health has really set itself apart from some of the competition. And I should mention the two converted patents. The first one has to do with TBI or traumatic brain injury, covering approximately 40 different conditions. The other one has to do with migraines. And again, I think this is really encouraging because these both represent huge market opportunities that are really being unmet with the current treatment processes. Now, if we jump over to the other side of the business, or the actual care delivery pillar here, which represents the clinics themselves, again, this is super interesting because they already have clinics up and operational, and the revenue those clinics are bringing in can actually go in to fund additional drug or treatment development. So we're going to talk about their clinics and their build-out plan as we move through this part of the presentation. But again, the goal with these clinics is really to address this growing mental health crisis, and some numbers that are pretty significant here. So 15 million people are currently suffering from PTSD, 17 million from depression, 20 million from different types of addiction, and 40 million people are suffering from anxiety. So as a result, the United States alone is now spending approximately 8 times more on psychiatric services than heart disease, which represents about $150 billion. So a huge opportunity here in terms of people and amount of money being spent. There are 50,000 psychiatrists and 15,000 psychiatric practices in North America at this point in time. So this industry is definitely growing. There's a lot of players involved, and that's why I think it's important to really call out some of the ways Wesana Health has differentiated themselves from some of these other practices. So Wesana is building a network of multidisciplinary psychiatric clinics to address the needs for integrated care. And here are a few of the highlights laid out in the investor presentation. So number one, holistic health founded in psychiatry. Psychiatrist-led mental health clinics that focus on delivering psychiatric care via a community-oriented, multidisciplinary approach. The model is inclusive of data-driven psychiatric care, neurology, advanced therapies, psychedelic therapy such as ketamine, group therapy, holistic health, and wellness. Wesana is currently operating 2 clinics in the greater Chicago area and have already administered over 4,000 ketamine treatments since inception. So again, they've already got a working business model, track record here, and they're bringing in revenue that they can use to fund other parts of the business. The second point, personalized care through proprietary diagnostics. So Wesana clinics take a comprehensive approach to diagnostics, looking at data from several different organ systems to obtain a complete picture of the patient. Results from the diagnostics will guide the development of customized patient treatment plans. So again, customized plans here. These are not cookie cutter treatments like we've seen with some of the other companies we've talked about. The third point, strategically positioned to capture patient insurance coverage. This is key here, you guys. These treatments do cost a fair amount of money, and if you can align your services with insurance coverage or insurance benefits, that bodes well for the customer or the patient and ultimately Wesana itself. So appropriate psychiatrist oversight in the clinics allow for a higher weighting of insurance reimbursable services and preferable reimbursement rates. So again, helping people pay for these services without having to actually pull money out of their own pocket. Now, in terms of their roadmap for the future or the build out of these clinics, there's really 3 phases laid out in the investor presentation. So the first one here is really focused on helping the mental health population, people seeking help for serious depressive episodes, anxiety, addiction, bipolar disorder, and eating disorders, which we've talked about previously in the presentation. Ultimately, people who are motivated to change their current situation and are ready to act now. The second step here is going to be focused on TBI or traumatic brain injury symptoms, concussions, and associated issues. So people like Dan who have tried multiple options for TBI injuries and are frustrated with the current care model or options that are available to them and are looking to start treatment because of TBI-related depression and anxiety. The third bucket here is really going to be focused around performance athletes, again speaking or catering to Dan's past. So these are going to be athletes looking for cognitive performance enhancement techniques, committed to excellence and driving results, athletes with sports-related injuries who are looking for maximum recovery options. And I really like how Wesana has laid this out in the presentation and really bucketed these various different groups of patients or addressable markets. And I should mention the opening of their Naperville location or clinic is a significant milestone for Wesana Health. This is going to be their first 2.0 clinic that offers additional treatment. There's also M&A potential here, so actually going out and acquiring other clinics to build out their portfolio of brick and mortar locations. And really that's going to be a major catalyst as the company starts to offer more 2.0 and 3.0 products and services at this expanding clinical network. And what's really exciting is as they bring on new clinics, they're actually able to administer new treatments. So for example, the Naperville clinic, the 2.0 clinics are going to be able to administer TMS, what's known as transcranial magnetic stimulation, or DBT, which is short for dielectrical behavioral therapy. So again, they're expanding their portfolio of different treatments and clinics. This is going to allow more and more patients or customers to seek treatment and ultimately allow more people to return to regular or normal life. So to close things out here, you guys, I wanted to leave you with a couple company highlights. Again, Wesana Health is in the life sciences sector. They're focused on psychedelic treatments or alternative medicine to help people with a variety of cognitive or brain-related issues. Founded in 2019, so still a relatively new company, headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. That's where their clinics are up and operational currently, and they were publicly listed only in 2021. So again, fairly new to the public markets. We talked about the ticker symbols. You can see on the CSE here, trades under the ticker symbol WESA, or on the OTC exchange in the United States, WSNAF. They're a highly experienced leadership team. They've already brought many drugs to market, so we talked about the leadership team and the scientific board in the intro here. This is, in my mind, the biggest differentiator for Wesana Health. Their preclinical and basic science research programs are focused on validating through animal models and biomarkers of different diseases. So they're bringing new treatments and new methods to the market through scientific or science-backed research. They've clinically differentiated themselves through that combination therapy and continuing to make advancements on the R&D or research and development side of the company. They've already got an intellectual property portfolio, including multiple different patents in various different application stages. And they're developing this multidisciplinary care model. They're going to be first to market with a data-driven psychiatric foundation through informed and advanced diagnostics. Now, in addition to the ketamine and the psilocybin we talked about in today's presentation, they're also looking at a potential partnership with MAPS to investigate the powers of MDMA for TBI or traumatic brain injuries. They've got a potential partnership with the World Boxing Council. So again, one of their main investors is Mike Tyson, one of the most popular boxers in the entire world. So this is definitely a practical use case for them. And their company has now actually been included in AdvisorShares psychedelic ETF, which trades under the ticker symbol PSIL. So a ton of things going on with this company, a great history or backstory behind the CEO and founder, who surrounded himself by a very impressive management team and scientific advisory board. They've got the brick and mortar locations already up and running, which are adding revenue to the company overall, which is then in turn being used to fund their additional research and development. They've got plans to expand in terms of the scope and scale of their clinics. And I think they're in a super exciting industry with a huge or massive total addressable market. So for those reasons, I would definitely recommend you take a look at Wesana Health. Throw this one on your watch list, you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this company, if you're currently holding shares, and how you think it stacks up to some of the other players we've talked about in this space on the channel previously. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button before you leave. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.